So we're going to look at circles to start with. The first thing we need to know is the general form for a circle. There's two forms, the standard form and the centre radius form. The centre radius form is the form here that we're going to look at. The more sort of, I suppose, simple form is this one here. So x squared plus y squared equals r squared, where r is the radius of the circle. And if we're translating a circle, so for example here in the general equation, we've got x minus h squared. This would mean that we're translating our circle to the right, h units, because that's linked with the x, so that's horizontal movement, and it would be up k units because that links to the y and that's up and down movement. It's always the opposite direction to the sign. So this is a negative h, it's going to be translation to the right. Okay, and you can see here the point translated plus h and plus k. So when we look at sketching a circle, we really just need to know where the centre of the circle is, so where it's translated to, and how far out in each direction, so the radius from that point we need to go. So here we've got sketch the graph of the circle with a centre at negative 2, 5 and a radius of 2. So I'm just going to do little axes. We're going to be negative 2, 5, so I don't really need much at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I just use little tick marks just to keep track of what's going on. 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is put in the centre. That's at negative 2, 5. So negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's here. Okay, once we've put the centre in, we're then going to move a radius of 2 in each direction. Now we know that because this is negative 2, so 2 to the left, when we go out a radius of 2, we're back here at the y-axis. We're then going to go 2 up in each direction. So this point here would be 0, 5. This point here would be negative 2 and up 2, so 7. This is going to be negative 2 and then down 2 from the centre, which is 3. And this point is going to be, need another one, negative 4, 5. And then, in just a different colour, we can sketch in the circle. Now with your sketches, it's a bit hard to do on the computer. Try not to create any points, so like a diamond when you join up your points. So try and keep it pretty curved and rounded. It also says to state the Cartesian equation for the circle. Now we know that normally if we had a circle it would be x squared plus y squared equals the radius squared. The radius here is 2 squared. But in this case we've actually got the centre of our circle translated from the origin up to this point here. So it's negative 2 and 5. So what we have to do is then do our translation for our circle. So it's going to be x plus 2. Remember it's always opposite to the sign, okay, of where you want to go. And then y, here it's up 5, so we'd do a negative 5 in there. And you can write down 4 if you want. I'm just going to write 2 squared. But it would just be 4 if you want to write it like that. And that's our Cartesian equation for the circle. Incidentally, you might see this form written in what's called the standard form, and that's basically just expanding these brackets. So if we expand, I'm actually going to write my 2 brackets next to each other. If you have trouble with expanding squared brackets and you forget that middle term, it's nice if you actually just write the brackets next to each other. Then you can see you're expanding across. So, and across these 2 terms. And then again, we've got the y squared minus 5y minus 5y, and then plus 25 equals 4. And then what we want to do is group together your similar terms. So you've got your, I'll just put an arrow, so we've got x squared, we've got 4 x's, we've got a 4 on its own, we've got a y squared and 10 y's, a 25 on its own equals 4. What I'm going to do is just bring the 4 over to this side. I'll just turn this into a minus. So I've brought it over. And now what we can do is just do a bit of simplifying. So you can see when we bring the 4 over, it actually gets rid of that 4. So we've now got x squared plus 4x plus y squared minus 10y plus 25 equals 0. And this is what's called the standard form. Now both of these forms, and I'll just put here centre radius form, both of these forms can actually be sketched in your CAS as well. So if we put these in, we'll see that we actually get the same circles. So first one I'm going to do is this one, x plus 2 squared and y minus 5 squared. So we'll just add a new page, a new graph page, go to menu, and then we're going to do graph entry. We want to put in an equation which is a circle, and we're going to do center form. And I've got a plus 2, a minus 5, and it's a 4. So plus 2, minus 5, and a 4 over here. You can see I put a negative 2 here because the negative and the negative makes that a positive. And then push enter. And you can see there we've got a circle in our center form. Now the other form we can put this in, just press tab to get up another entry window, is the standard form. So again, go to menu, graph entry, equation, circle, and then go to standard form. Okay, now this time we're going to put in the version we found here by expanding our brackets. So we've got x squared, y squared, we've got 4x's and negative 10y's, x squared, y squared, 4x's, negative 10y, and we had 25 as well. And push enter. And you can see that that form, I'll just drag that so you can see, the red circle goes directly on top of the blue circle, so they are the same. The other thing here is that if you click on your circle, that you can menu, analyze graph, so menu 6. You can look at a few things if you go to analyze conics, which is 9. So you can find the center, and it actually tells you when you hover over it, negative 2, 5 is the center. You can also look at, other things like the radius if you wanted to. Vertices for an ellipse is really useful. I'll do radius. So you can see now when you hover over it, it actually tells you your radius, which is 2, just underneath the hand. It's a bit difficult to see where the hand is. So you can see your radius there is 2. So it's a really useful way of analysing your ellipses or circles once you've sketched them.